Hare Krishna. Welcome to all of you to Lord Jagannath's shelter and residence and to the shelter of Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This evening we are dedicating this program, this kirtan and everything, whose child is, to our dear devotees in Ukraine and in other parts who are under the great throes of a war and are also at the same time helping so many all over the world who are stuck there, stranded there, helping them with food, helping them with shelter, helping them with other type of resources that they need. So this is a great trying time, and devotees all over the world have dedicated these 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, for Harinama Sankirtan and prayers on their behalf. I am sure that all of you would like to join in prayers to Krishna for the protection of humanity, for the protection of people, for the protection of these devotees, etc. Om Tat Sat. All of us together can briefly chant, and after the end of the session, we'll also do a little Harinam Sankirtan where all of you would like to join together. On behalf of these wonderful devotees, please chant along with me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama,
Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
So today I'm just reading from the Bhagavad Gita, a small shloka, which may not be normally chanted as something very important, but I'm just picking this up for us to be remembering what this means as the world is facing a situation like this. I'm choosing to chant the shloka from chapter 1, text 44. If you have Bhagavad Gita in front of you, you may try to move this. Chapter 1, text 44. Aho badamahat papam kartum vyavasitavayam yad rajya sukalo bhena hantum swajjanam udyata. I will read the translation and short purport given by Prabhupada. Translation. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Please repeat. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Purport. Driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world. But Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles and therefore takes care to avoid such activities. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Kauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. This is a wonderful utterance by Arjuna on the battlefield. A few days back, as I was speaking to one another friend of mine, as we were talking, we started to speak about the war in Ukraine, waged on Ukraine, and the world forces. And then there was a discussion briefly that it is not happening without a reason. And there are hidden reasons to this, etc. And as we were talking, it became a heated discussion. And it became a heated discussion. He made a remark. He said, even you guys are preaching about war from the Bhagavad Gita. He made a slant remark. He was not a devotee. And it struck me for a moment. And I thought that that's an interesting remark. Bhagavad Gita is spoken on the battlefield. After the Bhagavad Gita was spoken, there was a big war. And so he asked me, what are you speaking? It made me think a little bit. And do a little introspection. We are teaching from the Bhagavad Gita, which is spoken on the battlefield. A soldier is hearing from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there are armies on either sides, warring factions waiting to fight. And we are also teaching from the Bhagavad Gita to avoid war. We're also preaching from the Bhagavad Gita to avoid war. It's not necessary. Avoid violence on human beings, on any living entity. So many people get very confused. What are you up to? This is because we have not been educated properly on what exactly is human life, what exactly is humanity, what's the purpose and meaning of life. And many of these things have not been seriously, deeply dealt with. They have been lightly dabbled with here and there because we don't have the time. In a highly materialistic society, we don't have much time to spend towards realizing our identity, who we are, what is the reality, why do I die, what is the meaning of birth, what is this world, why there is suffering. All these million-dollar questions are not given time. We are very, very busy attending to very small things, details, and the deep questions of life are not very answered. So that's why it's necessary to explain this. And today we're trying to talk that and delve that a little bit. I remember I was in this place in Australia, in our center in the farm. We have a very huge farm there. And in the farm, there were a lot of youth when I went. And they were having a big camp on one side of the farm. They were calling themselves woofers. There is a worldwide organization of organic farms, woofer. World Organic Farm Association, something like that. And these youngsters are called woofers. Those people who like to live off the land. And I found a lot of nice young boys and girls who are just done their undergraduate, doing their postgraduate, some of them doing research. They take off from their regular studies and they travel the world and come to these places where woofers are required. They give free service for 6 to 7 hours a day. And they want to work on the land, on the field, on farming, and increase produce on the farm. And wherever there is a farm that requires manpower, they'll go. All you need to do is to give them a place to stay. Anywhere they open, also they will stay. They have got their net tent, they've got their whole backpack and everything. And you just need to give them 2, 3 times a day light food they eat. Whatever you produce from the farm, they will eat that. Some salad, some bread, some sandwich, some soup. That's all. So uh, when I was there, I was asked to speak to them. They were all very new. Some of them were Christians, some of them were Muslims, very small number of Indian students, 1 or 2. So while we were there and we were talking, I read from the introduction to the Gita. While I was reading the introduction to the Gita, Prabhupada speaks about a religious war. He's translated dharma to religion. So dharmic war became a religious war in English translation. As soon as I read that, and then I asked for questions, 2 of them said, "What did you read there? Religious war. This is the problem. In the name of religion, there is war." So I was trying to explain to them, this is a translation, religious war. It means this. Dharma means laws, rules put by God in place, and anybody who breaks those laws needs to be punished. And if there's no single punishing organization or like a police force, and people don't listen and they rise against, then you'll have to fight it in a bigger way, because they are breaking law. They are breaking God's law, and they are going against dharma. And the rest of the people who are following God's law will suffer. And therefore, it becomes sometimes a huge war. And that's what happened during this Kurukshetra war. In the Mahabharata, you'll read that. Sometimes people think that we also encourage war. We don't encourage war. And these wars that are being fought are not wars that are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Vedic literatures. This war has got rules and regulations for the war also. There's a particular time when the conch shell blows, you have to put down your weapons. And you can even move from this, this camp to this camp. They all mix together, opposing camp, and everybody meet each other and they talk to each other. They discuss the situation, how we can actually make peace. They talk all sorts of things. In the morning, again, they align themselves and fight the war. It's very official, very organized war. And I was wondering, how is that possible? It's possible. There are rules and regulations for war and fighting. Why? Because they are noblemen. And what do you mean by noblemen in a war? Kshatriyas. According to the Varnashrama system, you have the Varnas and the Ashramas. In the Varnas, you have Kshatriyas, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. And the Kshatriyas are very noble. They are actually fighting the war to protect the people. Whoever goes against God's laws, the land's laws and everything, and disturb the other people who are trying to follow God's laws to go up progressively in life, become better human beings, and move towards God. If they are not protected, then God's words are not protected. And there is no law, there is no morality, there is no ethics in human society. So we have to protect those instructions given, the laws given. So they are actually fighting to keep that together. Just like if you have, and scaling it down further, if you have in the city, you have policemen. If you ride a vehicle on the road, there is a law governing how you should ride. Keep on the left side of the road. You stop when there is a traffic signal. You go when there is a green light. You reduce your speed if there is a school. It says there, school, low speed, only 30 kmph, 40 kmph. And you have to follow these rules. Because if you don't, then the traffic cop will come and fine you, catch you, take your vehicle, seize your license. Is that required or not? Yes, it's required. Because there are many others who follow the laws and peacefully drive vehicles, reach their destinations, cater to their family, cater to their needs, and become good citizens. Then only human society can peacefully coexist. But still, you'll find people who break the law. Still, you'll find people who drive too fast. And there are accidents because they do that. Some are drunk. They do all these things. And people are always like that. There are always some people who do that. So police is required. It's not that the police is purposely being violent, is purposely restraining you. But that is needed. Otherwise, nobody can drive on the road peacefully, nicely. Similarly, scaling that up. Human society also has got general laws. What is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? How to move up internally, grow, which is the main principle. Somehow our society has missed that. We're not bothered about the real spiritual dimension of every human being and how they should progress. So in Vedic system of thought, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, there is four chatursh aspects. Dharma means religious principles should be followed by any civilized human being. And where are those religious principles coming from? They are coming from God. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. These laws can be made only by God, not by willy-nilly. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry and all cannot make laws because they don't know what is the reality, what is the truth. How can we rely on their laws? Presently, human society is rejected God's laws. We in India are a secular country. We don't depend on God's laws. We don't follow Bhagavad Gita, Quran, Bible, or anything. In this land where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken, maybe the Bhagavad Gita should be followed as a law, as a main guiding force and teaching for human beings. We don't. We are a man-made law. We have a man-made law. Groups of people get together, elect a government, and they make laws. And many times those laws are not in keeping with the laws of God. It's not in keeping. So invariably, what will happen? There will be chaos, there'll be disturbance, and all sorts of things will happen. So it's not surprising that people fight with each other to gain power over each other, control over each other, and gain more access to material resources, land, country, kingdoms, boundaries, and human beings. That is not Kshatriya. That is not noblemen. These wars are not done by noblemen. They are done by very low class people who have no standards, no obligations, no moral, ethical law. So this is not even a war of the same type. It's not religious war. War according to dharmic principles. It's not like that. This is somebody shooting somebody. Anybody can do that to anybody here. And everybody is doing that. I am fighting court cases in Guruvayur in our property where the neighbors have encroached on the property to huge amount of land. This way, that way, everywhere. Why? If I can get some bit of that land, my value increases. It doesn't matter whose land it is. I found it first. I got it first. Finders are keepers. So people do that even in small things. Everywhere people cheat. Other person's possessions they take. And there is no law. There is no this thing governing it. Then they pay the judge. They pay the court. They pay the policeman. They do that. And there's a hand-in-glove operation. And everything is very bad for people of this world. There's no law. There is no authority. What happens if the government, one country invades another country? Who is going to say anything about it? And who can? We can see people are powerless. Whole countries of the world are watching. And one country is invading another, bombing. Hundreds and thousands of people are dying. Children are dying. And people are displaced from their homes. I saw a video this morning of huge amount of people in the railway station trying to push inside with small kids, aged people, simple, nice people who pay their taxes, who follow the government laws and rules, but the government is not able to protect them. And some other forces are behind it, and there's a big history and so many things behind it. Helpless. What's the use of such a government? What's the use? But these Kshatriyas we are talking about here, Arjuna is standing, he is thinking, should I fight this war or not? His argument here is, why are we standing here? And we are going to commit this sinful activity of fighting them, and they will die because I am a powerful Kshatriya warrior. If I shoot an arrow from my Gandiva bow, it will definitely land and they will be dead. So I should think a million times before I do it. Is it really necessary? Is it right to do this? So he is consumed by these thoughts. It's not about victory he's talking about. He knows he'll be sure be victorious with Krishna standing next to him and he being Arjuna. But still he doesn't want to fight because I'm not fighting for victory. He says here, Kim no rajena govinda. What is the use of this kingdom? Even if I win, Kim bhogena. Why will I enjoy that after killing my relatives and people? I don't want it. This is the meaning of a noble man. In fact, he is telling, let's not fight. Let them, if they want, take the kingdom. Let them do anything to us. I don't mind, but I don't want to fight. This is the noble man, Kshatriya, that Arjuna is. Don't think it is simply an ordinary war that Kurukshetra they waged. Many considerations. Is it really necessary? We have gone through Sama, Veda, Dana, Danda. 4 ways of negotiations. Sama. Okay, please, let's work it out together. What is it? What is it that you need? What is it I need? Let's try to work it out. Let's try to talk. Let's come to a win-win solution. If that doesn't work, Veda. Some politics here and some politics there, create differences, try to settle the issue somehow, threaten them in this way and create political something. If that doesn't work, Dana, bribe. Okay, this is what you want? Here, take so much money, take so much of the land. Stop fighting. I don't have anything against you. So many people are waiting. They will all be put to great, difficulty. Let's not do this. Here, take something. Bheda, Dana. All these things were tried before. Danda. Okay, you're not listening. I'll take the stick and beat you physically. This is the last resort. And Kshatriya will think about all these things and go through all these things. He will not simply fight. He's not a trigger happy, waiting for war, waiting for fighting, because I've got so much of weapons and the whole weapon industry and the defense industry is huge money. Therefore, let us use it. Let us put to use. Let us wage wars. Let us, get money. Economy will shift. Many things will happen. There's all sorts of plans behind this. They are not cheap, low-class thinkers like that. They'll always look into the human society, how they will be affected. Is it really necessary? So this is noble man. This is the meaning of a person who is very God conscious and very much thinking about laws and rules laid down by God. That is Kshatriya. So don't think this is the same war like is being fought in Ukraine or anywhere else in this world. Those are all not wars. They are not noblemen. It's very clear. They're not at all noblemen. These wars are fought for money. These wars are fought for position, control, power of a few individuals sometimes. And so many people are put to hardship. So it's not necessary. It's not necessary. We are against this type of fighting. We're against this type of wars. And these are happening because Prabhupada said in a larger section, people will suffer because they give suffering to others, other living beings sometimes. And if we don't maintain a particular balance according to God's laws, sometimes we will be subjected to suffering also, right? So these are not dharmic wars. These are not religious wars. These are wars based on man-made laws, which are based on economy, power, control of one section of people over another section of humanity. And many youngsters don't like it in the present generation. Why do you fight? Why can't we be inclusive? Why do you differentiate? Why can't we help out? And why can't we all, with an understanding, live together? Humanity needs that type of a consideration. Humanity needs equality understood properly. Equality not as per material differences and equalizing them or trying to make them same, which is a impossibility, but equality on the basis of seeing everybody as a part and parcel of the Supreme Godhead. Mama ivam shajiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manah shashtanindriyani prakriti stani karshati. So Krishna is saying every living being in this world, in this creation, is my part and parcel. If we look at with education and proper understanding, I am spirit soul, I am a part and parcel of Krishna, then you'll respect every other living being also. The cat, the dog, the mosquito, the ant, the rat, the dog, everybody are all part and parcels of Krishna. They are simply in different bodies in this world, but they all have equal rights. Not only human beings should have equal rights, every living being should have equal right to exist as children of God. This is the Vedic understanding, right? This is the Vedic proper understanding. This is the Bhagavad Gita's understanding. Pandita Samadarshina hai. Seeing, a learned man is a person who sees everybody equally on the basis of a spiritual platform. He sees everybody is a spirit soul. Everybody has got Paramatma, super soul accompanying, and everybody is being looked after by Krishna. And just that the bodies differ, and that body is temporary, so it does not matter. So it does not matter, you know. So we should see equality, and we should be able to see equality only if we understand that we are spiritual beings. We are actually spiritual beings. We are not this body. That is a larger view. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada traveled all over the world and presented Bhagavad Gita, equality. And he said, we can end war, we can end hatred, we can end racism, we can end separatism, we can end differentiation. If we can understand and see everybody spiritually equal as parts and parcels of the Supreme God at whom we worship. And this is the need of the hour. Everybody should be able to see past material differences, race, caste, creed, color, country, nationality, gender, and see everybody as a spiritual soul and as connected to the Supreme Godhead. So this is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Suni Chaiva Swapake Cha Pandita Samadarshina. Pandita, a learned person, Samadarshina, he sees everybody equally. How? Because of his learning, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, he sees the Brahmane, sees the Brahmana, very learned person. Gavi, Hastini, the cow, Hastini means elephant. Sunichaiva Swapakecha, the Shudra, low class hunter, maybe in social status is very low. The hunter and the elephant and the cow and the brahmana and the sadhu, everybody he sees equally. This is education. It's because we don't have the spiritual education. You see, I'm American, you're Indian, you're Ukrainian, I'm Russian, I'm Moldavian, I'm Estonian, I'm Australian, I am, male, I am female. All these are material designations. But Bhagavad Gita teaches us to look beyond these material designations and bodies and look at the soul and be connected with the Supreme Soul, Krishna. Then there'll be no war. There's no necessity to hate anybody. It is just that he wears a different dress. That's like now here, many people are sitting. Everybody is wearing different colors of dresses, different outfits and designs. Some are wearing pant and shirt. Some are wearing a kurta and dhoti. Some are wearing the dhoti this way. Some are wearing dhoti this way, Tamil Nadu style. Somebody has chosen a gray color, somebody has chosen a white color, and somebody has chosen red and this. And women are in all sorts of saris, chudidars, and all that. We don't fight on the basis of that, do we? How dare you wear a chudidar for a Sunday program? How dare you wear a sari? How dare you? We never do that. We respect that he likes it that way. But I relate with you, irrespective whether you're a chudidar or a sari or a shirt or a coat or a pant. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Isn't it? It's got nothing to do. So this body is like a dress. You don't have to get worried if it is black, white, tall, short, fat, thin. Doesn't matter. That is just the residence of the soul. Briefly, temporarily. We don't have to fight on that basis. We know that. That's why we are sitting together. Same way, human society should understand, I'm American, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this nationality, that. Should not talk about those things. Those are temporary. That is the meaning of Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. This education is missing. Bhagavad Gita education is missing. That's why people are fighting. Because of material differences, they fight. You need not fight because you don't know. It doesn't matter. Matter does not matter. It's spirit that matters. Matter does not matter. It's spirit that matters. So fighting for lands, fighting for this and all, you fight and you go, the land is still there. You live for so many years and then you die and you go. The land remains there only. The Bhagavatam describes very beautiful verse. Bhumi is saying and laughing. There is an instance where war is happening. My land, your land, and then two factions are going to attack each other. Suddenly the Bhumi, the ground underneath, splits open. Huge caving, and it moves like that. They're all very scared, right in middle of both of them. And there's a big laughter coming. Bhumi Devi is laughing. And everybody stops, the horses stop, all the army stops, and there is a loud sound. How many such warring factions have come and said, this land is mine, that land is mine, and fought with each other and died. Put you, all you Pandavas in place and establish to the whole world, you must follow God's laws. Therefore, it's necessary. Dharmasya glani, when there's total meltdown of dharma, then Krishna comes and using his devotees, he establishes dharma. So that, is something that is in God's hands. So we need to definitely follow Bhagavad Gita's principles. How not to stupidly fight and kill each other. The end of it is you just suffer a lot. Just suffer a lot. Neither is there victory for one side alone. Even they suffer. Everybody suffers it. So therefore, we should all try to be harmoniously existing, helping each other, remaining on a spiritual platform, following Bhagavad Gita's instructions, worshipping Krishna, becoming devotees, and cooling down ourselves, making a little sacrifice, and living together, worshipping the one supreme Godhead. When we all together worship that one supreme Father, then we know we are all related. We are all brothers and sisters. And it's our duty, for the sake of our Supreme Father, to look after ourselves, to help each other, to live together as humanity, as one, and all those who are dependent on humanity, all other living beings also need to be looked at. Then God becomes pleased. Krishna becomes pleased with you when you look after his children. So that's why Bhagavad Gita tells us, if we can teach these principles of Bhagavad Gita to others, Krishna will look at you as a very dear person to him. Right? It's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. So please read the Bhagavad Gita. Please understand these deep imports and live life according to the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. And the human society will become wonderful. For human society to become good, everybody in society must change to follow the orders and laws of God given in Bhagavad Gita. That's important. Units of human beings form human society. For human society to change, every unit must also understand this. Every human being must understand, then only you will appreciate God's laws. You'll appreciate those people who are trying to introduce those laws and follow those laws, and you will give cooperation for that. Everybody needs to change, and Bhagavad Gita is helping us to change internally, individually, and therefore human society will be better. So we are here trying to form a community of Krishna devotees who like to follow Krishna's order as per Bhagavad Gita and help others to do so and live together worshipping Krishna. We want to extend this community more and more and more and grow it larger. And in this way, entire Coimbatore will be like that, surrounding people will be like that. So in this way, extend the influence of good life of Krishna consciousness to everybody. So thank you all very much for coming down here today and being with us. Like we mentioned, we want to do a brief kirtan for 5 minutes, completely dedicated to devotees in Ukraine. We have a very large group of devotees in Ukraine. We have more than 48 temples in Ukraine. And huge, very enthusiastic devotees who read Bhagavad Gita in the Ukrainian language. I think it's Russian anyway, or close to Russian. For me, all of them sound the same, Slavic order. And I was in Slovenia. I did not go to Russia or to Ukraine, but I've met all of them, and they're wonderful devotees. You know, women, children, and men together in a huge community. And they're going out of their way to help many Indians, many others who are stranded, giving them food and help, and also remaining constantly praying to Krishna. So today is dedicated all over the world. We are doing Harinam Sankirtan for them in all our branches of ISKCON, all the devotees. So we like all of you also to take part in a prayer to Krishna to protect human society and these devotees. Thank you. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.